So this is a video I've been excited to make. I got the windows open, I got the sun coming in. It's going to be a good time. Now, I made a video a little bit ago talking about Stanley Kubrick's Barry Lyndon, which used to be my favorite film of all time. And, you know, my favorite film has shifted over the years, not too much. Like usually I'll have a film that just keeps moving up the more that I rewatch it. But there's one film that basically my whole life I've loved. And there was a video that I watched. Mark Kermode was talking about the movie The Exorcist and why it was his favorite film ever. And it was because, what the hell's my hair doing? It was because he had saw the film like over 200 times. And every single time he watched that movie, it was almost like watching a completely different film. And I started thinking a little bit more. And I realized there was a film that sort of met that same criteria for me. No matter how many times I watched it, it was almost like I was watching a different film. I was getting a completely different experience from it. I was pulling different themes and different aspects from the film with each different viewing. And it just kept moving up my list over the last couple of years. And a couple of months ago, it was like my second favorite film at that point. I was like, I don't know if it's better than Barry Lyndon or not. I watched it again for like the 1 millionth time. Not really a million times, but you know. And then I realized there was no doubt about it that Texas Chainsaw Massacre was my favorite film. I have a poster right here. I have one in the living room. And then I have the 4K edition, which is this edition is really nice. And then I have the 40th anniversary Blu-ray edition, which I've had for a while. And then I just actually got this in the mail today, which is why I was holding off on making the video, the Second Sight special edition 4K, which this is awesome. This is really cool. Now, I want to get into sort of why the film inspires me, why I like it so much, and sort of how I came to discover the film, because I actually watched the film when I was really young. Like, I was really young. So I guess we'll start there. I watched this film, I think I was around 3, 4, 5 years old, I believe. I was somewhere around that age range, if I remember correctly. Maybe 6, I don't know. I was really young when I first watched it. And I remember when I first watched it, I was, my aunt had passed away. I think it was a few years before that, and me and my mom, we still went to her girlfriend's house, to just hang out, and and she had a lot of horror films, and I had the Texas Chainsaw Man. I looked at it and I was like, okay, this looks intriguing. There was something about the old black DVD case with the chainsaw on it. It sort of was very intimidating to me, in a sense. I even remember when I first saw the poster for, I think it was the United States version of The Ring, and it had that black poster. I remember that intimidated me as well whenever I was a kid. But I wanted to watch this film, and I did. And I got up to the part where there's going to be spoilers in this video. If you've not seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for like the one person that hasn't, I'm kidding. I'm sure there's people that haven't seen it. But just warning, spoilers. But the part where Kurt runs through the house and Leatherface takes the sledgehammer to his head, that part terrified me. I mean, that part scarred me. I still remember that moment. And then whenever, what was her name? I forget what her name was in the film. When it's like I can remember Jerry, Sally, Kurt, Franklin, Pam. When she runs out of the house and Leatherface snatches her up, I almost remember him having a smiley face mask on. It's so weird how I remember that stuff. And then I remember, I think we borrowed the movie, and then my mom had a DVD player. I was intimidated just by having the movie in the house. I mean, that film, that is the impact that film had on me. Like, seriously. I mean, that part terrified me. I still remember that moment. And then whenever Kurt runs through the house and Leatherface takes the sledgehammer to his head, that part terrified me. I mean, that part scarred me. I still remember that moment. And then whenever Kurt runs through the house and Leatherface takes the sledgehammer to his head, that part terrified me. I mean, that part scarred me. I still remember that moment. And then whenever Kurt runs through the house and Leatherface takes the sledgehammer to his head, that part terrified me. I mean, that part scarred me. I still remember that moment. And then whenever Kurt runs through the house and Leatherface takes the sledgehammer to his head, that part terrified me. I mean, that part scarred me. I still remember that moment. And then whenever Kurt runs through the house and Leatherface takes the sledgehammer to his head, that part terrified me. I mean, that part scarred me. I still remember that moment. And then whenever Kurt runs through the ho And over the years, I've grown accustomed to the film. Like the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I really enjoyed that one a lot, which is from the same director, Tobe Hooper. Which, by the way, Tobe Hooper has been a big inspiration as well. You know, with my filmmaking career, I've always looked up to him. I've always looked up to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre just because if you look at the behind the scenes of this film, you know, 30 days of filming in the heat, low budget. Basically everything that could go, well, I don't want to say everything that could go wrong went wrong, but this was a pretty grueling production. And this and the making of The Godfather reminds me, no matter how hard it gets on film sets, it could be worse. So yeah, this film has always been inspiring to me. And when I look at the different themes of the film, I really like how everything is sort of under the sheets in this. Like, you really do have to keep pulling off layers to sort of see what's going on, because you have the astrology part in the film with, you know, Saturn in retrograde, the astrology. You have social commentary. You know, you have social commentary even on like food, processed foods and slaughterhouse, animal cruelty, you know, hippies, you know, just the state of the world, free love, all these different things, home invasions. I mean, all these different things that you can pull from, that I've even pulled from myself for screenplays that I've written. I mean, this film has inspired me a great deal. And every time I watch it, I get something different from the film. Like, it's never the same film every time I watch it. I love showing this to people for the first time. It's one of those films where I feel like it's like a bolt of lightning. It starts and then it ends. I was showing my friend this film a couple of weeks ago, and I told him, I was like, hey, we're already halfway done with the film. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I personally think it's one of the greatest horror. I think it is the greatest horror film ever made. It's paced perfectly. It has a strong message. The impact, I mean, it's very creepy. It's unsettling. The film itself doesn't even really have a drop of blood in it. I mean, there is obviously a drop of blood, you know, from the finger scene. And then the iconic chase scene at the end with Sally and Leatherface is just I don't think it was the first time that I watched the movie, but it was one of the times that preceded that, where I was sitting there watching that chase scene, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is just freaking me out. Like, I literally, and you could see how close Leatherface was to Sally. I love it. And it's also one of those films too, where when I see the behind the scenes photos, it's almost like I can't imagine being there filming. And it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, if you guys have not seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, definitely do so. There's so many different editions that you can get, especially the 4K and the second sight 4K. Honestly, I don't really have an issue with the transfers for these. I've heard that the colors are very faded in this particular release, but you can also get it for like $9 on standard Blu-ray. They even have a really cool steelbook that's $14, which, holy crap, I don't know why I didn't grab that for this one, because I have another copy of the film. But yeah, anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. I'm so glad I got to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Love the film to death. Anyway, let me know what you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre down in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.